distributor. The winning numbers were 11, 12, 21, 29, and 49. If you have this ticket, you can validate your earnings at the store where you bought your ticket within a 1-year period. According to a release from Congressman Chris DeLuzio's office, DeLuzio and 6 other Congress members reintroduced the Dennis and Lois Chris Fallacy Act. This act will give a marker or memorial headstone to a dependent child of a veteran or an eligible spouse of a veteran. The memorials will either be at a state or tribal veteran cemetery or in a national cemetery, regardless of the date that a family member passes away. The Hopewell Township Police Department is looking for police officers and is making an eligibility list for the position. The position includes an eligibility package that includes a package for health care and a competitive salary that goes to $83,000 for a patrol officer working full-time in the top tier. You must apply before April 22nd at 4 p.m. The website of the application can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. A law signed by Governor Josh Shapiro to urge Pennsylvanians not to drive distracted will go into effect soon. Paul Miller's law forbids people from using devices that are handheld while driving. The law will start on June 5th, 2025, and people can only use phones for music, calls, and GPS usage, but never while driving. The 2026 NFL Draft will be in Pittsburgh. In the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Visit Pittsburgh are looking for businesses to apply for a program to fulfill its contracting purposes. Businesses can apply now, and on May 7, 2025, the process will close. The website with the available needs for the draft and more information can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. The last person to allegedly see missing University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki has been issued a full ruling by a judge to clear him in her case of disappearance. Joshua Rebe, a student at St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, was seen with Konanki in a surveillance video walking towards a beach. Konanki disappeared in Punta Cana on March 6th. Texas has reached 422 cases of measles in an outbreak that started 2 months ago. Texas and 4 other states all have active measles outbreaks. 2 unvaccinated people have died from measles-related causes. Measles is caused by a highly contagious virus that's airborne and spreads easily when an infected person breathes, sneezes, or coughs. It is preventable through vaccines and has been considered eliminated from the U.S. since 2000. Measles cases also have been reported in Pennsylvania and 15 other states. This newscast is being brought to you by St. Barnabas. We will check your Beaver County radio weather forecast after this.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Mostly cloudy and very breezy today with showers and thunderstorms. We'll see a high near 72. Showers and thunderstorms tonight will drop down to a low around 48. Cloudy tomorrow with rain and possible thunderstorms. Look for a high near 58 and a low around 52. And more rain and possible thunderstorms in the forecast for Saturday. We'll reach a high near 74 and a low around 44. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
Yeah, I see that.
On this Thursday, April 3rd of 2025 at 11 minutes after 9, we've got a temperature of 65 degrees with mostly cloudy skies here in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Are you ready? It's time to find out what is on the mind of Eddy Crow. It's something to crow about on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. Now, here's the host of the show, Eddy Crow.
We got a full house today. We got a lot to do today. We're going to hit the ground running. It's one of those days where if it was nice weather and you plan to kind of lollygag, and you can't lollygag because you can't go out because the weather's cruddy, you say, oh, I'm going to clean my house today. I'm going to be productive. We're going to be productive today. Dan Camp is here. Tony Amadeo is here. Jack Manning is here. And it's Ask the Commissioners. If you've got a question for any of the commissioners, you call 724-843-1888. This is happening in the Fried Transportation Group studio. I'm Eddy Crow. Good morning, gentlemen. I answer all at once, so I get confused. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
How's it going, man?
Tony, I don't know nothing about it, but I know that you had health stuff and you missed a little bit. You look like you're feeling better. You feeling better?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right.
Very much so.
All right. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to start with? I want to talk about infrastructure. I want to talk about, honestly, how tariffs are going to affect Beaver County. There's a lot of things to talk about. Who wants to start first? I'm looking at you, Jack.
Why? Well, infrastructure, and I know Frank did some coverage in your news report had it. Yeah, we're proud. We just put a release out. Encourage everybody to go to connectbeavercounty.com and also go to the affordability tab. Check on that. They can see where their neighborhood, where their house is in the process of connecting or upgrading.
What does the affordability ap tell me if I go to it? It says how long and how much?
It will tell you who may be having special deals for internet service.
All right.
It will tell you that there's usually multiple internet providers in your area. There are very few areas. One of the things that we did that doesn't get a lot of press is we've engaged more folks. The complaints we used to get is, like most utility companies, like, I only have to use Comcast in my area, or I can only use Verizon or whatever. Mm-hmm. We now have multiple options, and that's in that affordability tab. So we're pretty proud. I mean, we're 98% complete overall. It's a process where we're never going to be complete because hopefully we're going to continue to build houses and more people need to, with new homes, get hooked up. But we're ahead of schedule and under budget. So
wait, back up. You're what?
Nothing to complain about.
Ahead of schedule and under budget.
Yes, yeah. Originally we had earmarked 18 to 20 million,
20 million
for that, and
right.
It's coming in closer to 15 when we're all done. So yeah, pretty proud of the efforts.
Well,
the Baker Engineering, our planning department, and all the internet service providers have done to get us to this point.
Yeah, we made that decision early on to invest our American Recovery Funds, 20 million of it, into broadband.
I remember, wasn't there a deadline that you had to earmark it for something or give it back?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the end of last year.
Yeah.
But, so we're ahead of most of the counties in our state, in our Commonwealth, because a lot of them only put a small portion, and they're relying on the other state funds and federal funds to subsidize their development. Where we just, we decided, we made that decision and we followed through with it. So that's why we're so far ahead of the game.
Dan, how often does it happen working in government that somebody is ahead of schedule and under budget? How did that occur?
I'd like to say often in the county government.
Yes.
In Beaver County government. I can't speak for our colleagues across the Commonwealth, but one of the things that we take seriously, as Commissioner Manning mentioned, this project, when we invested those dollars, our planning and redevelopment office, hit the ground running. We were able to bring our employees the CCAP, the County Commissioners Association, and present it to all of our colleagues. Mm-hmm. Our game plan, and the state realized how far ahead we are, and they used our model as an example whenever they were talking broadband across the Commonwealth. So, we knew from day one that we were going to be, hopefully ahead of schedule. We have good public-private partnerships when it comes to those companies who are helping us put this infrastructure in across Beaver County. But not too often do we hear under budget and ahead of schedule, but we like to take pride in that.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the people that other people are supposed to be paying attention to, you should take pride in that.
Yeah, well, I think we do, and I think we stress to our colleagues across the Commonwealth, what a great job not only our planning and redevelopment office, but all of our department heads, all of our elected officials in Beaver County do. At the end of the day, they're the ones who make the commissioner's office look good. They prepare their budgets, they give them to us. We work on that, and as Controller Longo stated, I think last week in work session, we're doing pretty well at the end of our 2024 budget that we're getting ready to close here.
Dan Camp and Tony Amadeo and Jack Manning are here. It's Ask the Commissioners, 724-843-1888. Is there any more of that money sitting squirreled away somewhere that we're going to get to use in Beaver County, or have we emptied the wallet?
Very little.
I'll defer to the chairman on
There
this.
you go, Tony.
Very little.
Okay.
We get requests all the time, but really there's nothing left to earmark.
Right.
Everything, there's money sitting there, but it's allocated already.
Yeah.
People are drawing it down, like finishing up the broadband.
Is there a timeline that it has to go out? Or it just
When it
needed
has
to
to
be
be
earmarked, completed the projects?
And
Yes.
end of 26.
Okay.
2026 is when all those projects will be completed.
I want to ask you about dysfunction. We in Beaver County seem to be able to function bipartisan. Is it getting more difficult over time because of the national political scene to function
I don't
when
think
you
so.
maybe don't agree with
You know
someone?
what?
Tony's
We're
been
an
around longer
anomaly.
than us,
Yeah,
so-
we're an anomaly in
You
Beaver
keep
County.
tossing it to Tony.
The fact
I like
that we work together.
Yeah.
We don't always agree, but we work together to achieve the goals that we need to achieve. And that's why Beaver County is doing well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, obviously many years, going 10 years of service in county government, we've seen our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, whether it's the commissioner's office or one of our other elected officials, we seem to work together. Now, I will say, I think with the national politics, we're starting to see that trickle down to local politics, school boards and municipalities. There's people who are running for office that probably 10 years ago never thought they would run for office before. And they have every right to do so as long as they have the common goal of not only one side, as long as they have the common goal of both parties, I guess all three parties or anyone who they represent, betterment for their community or their school district. It shouldn't matter what the party is. But I think we're starting to see more people run for office. Our elections department has said that.
Is that optimistic because more people are becoming involved, or is that troubling because some people that are running for office shouldn't be trusted with a sharp stick?
I'm a glass half full guy instead of glass half empty. So I'm going to say I'm optimistic that it's a good thing because now you're getting different viewpoints. As long as at the end of the day, I think everyone has a view when they get into a position, a political position, a public office position, that they know exactly what needs done. Once they get in there and see, wow, there's two sides to every story. It's going to take some time, but I think I'm optimistic about it.
Well, you're kind of the young gun. 10 years in, 10 years ago, did you think I'm still going to be doing this? Was that the plan?
I do look back at some of my newspaper articles and interviews to see what I've said. I think I thought I would be here this long. I don't know how much longer I'll be here. It's one of those things where at the end of the day, as long as you leave something better and you found it, I'm proud of what I've done over the last 10 years. I'm proud of what Beaver County has done over the last 10 years. There's been significant increases in, developments and county government infrastructure. We really rehabbed all of our county municipal buildings. I definitely thought coming into office, I knew exactly what was going to be done. One, because people who were leading me to run for office were telling me that. And then once I got into office, I realized, wow, you have to be your own voice, your own mind, but you have to take everyone's opinions and make the best decision for the residents.
I want to ask you about that. Before being in public office, what did you do?
So I worked for BMAC Trucking, and I also, before that, I did some medical sales.
Okay.
So, there's a long line of public officials in my family. So, one of the things where they were looking for individuals to run for elected offices.
What was the pitch?
Well, they wanted me to run for a different position. They wanted me to run for another elected office in the county. And I said, if I'm going to do it, I want to be able to make a difference in Beaver County. So I said, I'm going to run for county commissioner. Bigger office. I ruffled some feathers inside my party. But, at the end of the day, I like to think they made the right decision and by supporting me. After the primary election, once we had a general election ticket.
How quick does the switch get flipped? And what I mean by that, you and I are in the same party, but you and I disagree, and it gets nasty and just that guy. When does the switch get flipped? When I pass you in the hallway and we go to lunch? Is it that easy?
Can you?
I see personal attacks in politics that I've never seen before. How thick does your skin have to develop?
It doesn't bother me.
No?
Very seldom do I get upset about a personal attack. At the end of the day, I know what I'm doing. I like to think I'm doing it for the best of Beaver County. Again, as Commissioner Amadeo and Commissioner Manning said, there are times where we all disagree, but we will figure out a solution at the end of the day. And hopefully that solution is the betterment of Beaver County.
You can't do this if you're not thick-skinned. You just can't.
How?
But I'll just say, Eddie, any disagreements we've had, they've never been personal, and we've always been respectful about it. And we know where each of us are coming when we have differences of opinions.
Do you know what the
and
others...
I think that trickles over throughout the courthouse, quite frankly. Tony and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, to someone from the outside, people don't understand that a lot of counties don't even get along with their court system and stuff. I think we set the tone for how the other row offices and how the courts, the district attorney and different people, we have really truly great collaborative working arrangements, regardless of party affiliation, with every single one of our row officers.
When Dan became chairman, I remember that day very well. When he became chairman, first thing I told him was maintain the relationship that this board has with the president judge.
Okay.
Because you can't run this courthouse without the second floor, in our case, which is the court system. Every time I went, and I've been doing this is my 18th year, that people can't believe, commissioners can't believe that we have a good relationship with our president judge. We had one with this president judge. We've had one with the last president judge. Just a simple thing like when COVID hit, closing the courthouse down, that has to be a joint thing between the president judge and the chairman of the Board of Commissioners.
Unified front.
Yes. Well, you can't close the courthouse down if there's a major case going on, unless you find a place to hold that case. I mean, there has to be collaboration between the court system and the county system.
Talking about disagreements, when Tony shows up and there's a topic, how often do you know, oh, well, this is going to be Tony's position? Or you're talking about a topic, Dan Camp looks over and goes, I got a pretty good idea of what Jack thinks about it. Is that's not 100%, but is it pretty close? You've worked together.
It's 100%, but it's probably 90, 95%. Yeah. I mean, we pretty much know where we're coming from. We usually come to quick collaboration on an agreement on truly 95%.
And a lot of times the majority rules, and I'm not talking the majority party, I'm talking about when two commissioners say go in a certain direction, that's the way we go.
Dan started smiling when I asked that. How often do you get told by your party members, here's what you're supposed to do? And how often?
Never.
You're never told that?
Never told.
It's never suggested.
Well, there's been an expectation a few times.
Okay.
I've been in my party longer than any of the party members are there now. And they know I'm a moderate. When it comes to fiscal matters, I'm a conservative. When it comes to people matters, I'm liberal. And I vacillate in between that. That's why I label myself as a moderate. Most of this board is that way. You can't survive in Beaver County if you're not in that position.
Yeah, it's not necessarily even we get, I don't want to say orders, but we get talking points from our party. We get them from everyone because we all
showing up.
We get we hear one of the most common lines that we hear is "You work for us." And I don't think anyone here, as the commissioners or any other public official in the courthouse or maybe the Commonwealth or local levels, they understand that they're getting paid by your tax dollars and we represent them. But what we have to explain to them is, yes, we work for you, but we also work for the other 160,000+ people. And again, going back to it, we have to make the best decision that represents the whole community, the whole county that we see fit. And, we have a lot of help of people who work underneath of us, that help us make these decisions. Very seldom are we making a decision without getting the correct and right information from our department heads or other elected officials.
A lot of input. I think I can say this for all through it. We don't make political decisions. No. We make decisions that have political ramifications. But I don't know. Yeah. I've never known either one of them, and I know how I am, that have said, oh, this is good politics. We need to do that this way. We do what we think is collectively right for 165, 166 plus residents of Beaver County.
That coupled with myself, is this decision going to keep me up at night? Is this going to bother me personally as well as the people out there? And that's why I base most of my decisions. I don't look at, is this a Republican decision or a Democratic decision?
You look at it as, how can I sleep?
Right. Yeah. How can I sleep at night?
Hey, we've ticked off a few people.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the 5 years I've been there, and a lot longer for Tony and Dan.
How many times when you got somebody genuinely upset, could you rationally say, okay, I get why they're upset? And how many times was it just, excuse my language, a Looney Tunes blowing off steam?
Well, I think what frustrates all of us the most are ill-informed or underinformed people that are coming in with a position, and they really don't have the proper perspective and understanding and ramifications of the decision. They're looking at it through a different lens and kind of myopic about it, and they're not seeing the bigger picture sometimes. So it's frustrating, and our job then is to try and respectfully educate them on the bigger picture and why we're taking the stance we're taking.
Jack Manning and Tony Amadeo and Dan Camper in the studio with me. You can ask the commissioners a question, 724-843-1888. After the news, I'm going to ask you about thick skin.
Our Lady of the Valley Parish is inviting you to one of the best Lenten fish fries in the Valley at the St. Cecilia Hall on California Avenue in Rochester. The fish fries get underway on Friday, March the 7th, and will be every Friday throughout the Lenten season from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be fish sandwiches, fried or baked, for just $12. Fried or baked fish dinners, $15. Shrimp dinners are $15. Fish or shrimp salads are $14. And the Chesapeake Bay dinner is $17. It includes fish, shrimp, and crab cakes. The dinners also include coleslaw and a choice of French fries, mac and cheese, or yummy pierogies. Yummy pies for dessert, but that's extra. You can eat in, take out. Credit cards are also accepted. Call 724-775-3775 or 724-709-7426.
We have Art Cornell here from the Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum. Art, what's new at the cemetery?
We've just completed a new addition to the mausoleum with above-ground burial crypts, indoor and outdoor niches, and family areas. The Beaver Mausoleum advantages include no plot maintenance, the convenience of a heated and air-conditioned building for visitation, and an adjoining private chapel. It's a perfect final resting place for your loved ones.
Thanks, Art. Beaver Cemetery and Mausoleum, serving all of Beaver County since 1865.
You're invited this weekend to the Butler County Home Show at the Family Sports Center on Route 68 with free admission, presented by Armstrong Comfort Solutions. Find specialists for all your home improvement needs, including flooring, bedding, and more. Sponsored by Just Pay Half.
Attention seniors, did you know that by being a part of Silver Sneakers, you can receive a Beaver County YMCA membership for no additional cost? More than 16 million Medicare members have access to the Silver Sneakers program. Just give our member service representatives a call, and we'll take care of the rest. For more information, give us a call at 724-891-8439. Again, that's 724-891-8439.
Jimmy Fela is coming to Pittsburgh. Join St. Barnabas Charities to honor Jimmy Fela at their Founders Day dinner celebration on Wednesday, April 16th. Fela is a New York City cab driver turned stand-up comedian and is the host of Fox Across America News Radio. Event proceeds benefit the St. Barnabas Free Care Fund. Buy tickets online at stbarnabascharities.com or call 724-625-3770.
Are you frustrated by high copays for your generic drugs? Stop overpaying and start saving. Discover Forward RX, your local cost-plus pharmacy in New Brighton. At Forward RX, we believe in transparency and affordability. No insurance middlemen, no inflated prices, just the true cost of your medication plus a simple fixed markup. Join the Forward RX family today and experience the difference. Check out our medication prices online at fwdrx.com or give us a call for a price quote. Forward RX. Come for the savings and stay for the service.
Pittsburgh Penguins hockey is back on Beaver County Radio.
Goal, right to the front right there, Carter, he scores! Big goal for Big Jeff!
Tune in all season long as the revamped Pittsburgh Penguins are on a quest to win their 6th Stanley Cup. Penguins hockey on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by St. Barnabas Healthcare System, Falcone's Moon Township Board, Patriot Home Care, Forward RX, and Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and beavercountyradio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Thursday, April 3rd of 2025. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The Beaver County Commissioners recognized multiple recent events in the community at their work session. Here's Beaver County Radio's Curtis Walsh with more.
During the Commissioners' work session Wednesday morning, recognition was given to Sophie Yendel, who works for the Planning and Redevelopment Commission. She has achieved All-America status on the swim team for the University of Pittsburgh. She placed 5th in the women's 50 free and is now the highest NCAA finisher in the program's history. Also at the meeting, Commissioner Jack Manning went on to make note of a few key things in the community. An Envirothon was hosted by the Conservation District at Brady's Run Park Wednesday, featuring multiple local school districts. And Manning also noted that it is the 10th anniversary of St. Barnabas buying Beaver Meadows and thanks St. Barnabas for their contributions to the community so far. The commissioners also wanted to thank the Beaver Police for their swift response to the graffiti incident that took place at an apartment complex in Beaver last week. From Beaver, this is Curtis Walsh reporting for Beaver County Radio News.
The Beaver County Commissioners announced on Wednesday that the Connect Beaver County broadband program is at the halfway point of its completion. 925 homes that did not have internet service that was reliable received availability for new broadband service. For more information about the Connect Beaver County broadband program, you can visit connectbeavercounty.com. Someone in Beaver County is a lucky winner after a lottery ticket worth $2 million sold in a drawing that occurred on Tuesday. The ticket was for the Mega Millions game and was sold at the Midland Beer Distributor, which will get a bonus of $10,000. The winning numbers were 11, 12, 21, 29, and 49 without hitting the yellow ball 3. If you have this ticket, you can validate your earnings at the store where you bought your ticket within a 1-year period. According to a release from Congressman Chris DeLuzio's office, DeLuzio and 6 other Congress members reintroduced the Dennis and Lois Chris Falusi Act. This act will give a marker or memorial headstone to a dependent child of a veteran or eligible spouse of a veteran. These memorials can be put up regardless of the date that a family member passes away. The memorials will be either at a state or tribal veterans cemetery or at a national cemetery. The Hopewell Township Police Department is looking for police officers and is making an eligibility list for the position. The position includes an eligibility package that includes a package for health care and a competitive salary that goes to $83,000 for a patrol officer working full-time in the top tier. You must apply before April 22nd at 4 p.m. The website of the application can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. A law signed by Governor Josh Shapiro to urge Pennsylvanians not to drive distracted will go into effect soon. Paul Miller's law forbids people from using devices that are handheld while driving. The law will start on June 5, 2025. People can only use phones for music, calls, and GPS usage, but never while driving. The last person to allegedly see missing University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki has been issued a full ruling by a judge to clear him in her case of disappearance. Joshua Rebe, a student at St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, was seen with Konanki in a surveillance video walking towards a beach. Konanki disappeared in Punta Cana on March 6th. Rebe also got a new passport after the law firm that represents him requested one from the U.S. Embassy.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Mostly cloudy and very breezy today with showers and thunderstorms. We'll see a high near 72. Showers and thunderstorms tonight will drop down to a low around 48. Cloudy tomorrow with rain and possible thunderstorms. Look for a high near 58 and a low around 52. And more rain and possible thunderstorms in the forecast for Saturday. We'll reach a high near 74 and a low around 44. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Are you ready? It's time to find out what is on the mind of Eddy Crow. It's something to crow about on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. Now, here's the host of the show, Eddy Crow.
Yeah, technically I'm the host, but I ain't providing much. I got people for that. Jack Manning is here. Tony Amadeo is here. Dan Camp is here. And it's Ask the Commissioners, 724-843-1888. If you've got questions. I got plenty of questions, but yours are probably better than mine, so call and we'll ask them. They're here. 724-843-1888. See if I got you. Hi, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, what's your name?
Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Is everybody sitting down?
Actually, yes, everyone's sitting down. Are you going to drop a bomb?
I don't want them falling off their chair because I want to give them a compliment. I know you don't often hear probably compliments, but, I like to go down to Brady's Run a lot. Okay. And I fish down there a lot. I love the outdoor aspect of it. I was really, really happy to see that they have cleaned out all those little catchment ponds above the lake.
Sediment ponds, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And, over the years, that's been done. Every time it's done, it's really nice areas up there. It sort of expands some of your opportunities to fish up there. I see a lot of wildlife up there. And, it was long overdue, but now it's done. So thank you. I think that was a great thing that you did there.
All right, well, I'm going to hang up before you change your mind and start yelling and stick with the compliment. How big a moneymaker, to break it down to its most basic level, how much money does Brady's Run bring into the county? Because there's events all the time, marathons, everything.
I know tourism will have some of those numbers, but it's huge. It's the biggest attraction, the biggest draw that we have for the county with all the events, the Rabid Raccoon 100 that we just did, the triathlons that we have a couple times a year there, the Maple Syrup Festival. There's just so many things. And then you just look at the rentals. The rentals are usually for the Four Seasons and the Lodge. By the time they open up, when you can start scheduling, within weeks, they're all scheduled, especially on weekends for weddings and graduations and birthdays and everything else. And that's why we try and take such good care. And our DPW guys are great. They're second to none, taking care of Brutch Creek, Brady's Run, Old Economy Park. These guys are good, and they're out there. They're dedicated. And, we're pretty proud of the park systems.
How nice is it when somebody recognizes, I'm not goofing on Jerry, but does it make you feel good for all the grief that you guys take? Oh, okay, somebody actually recognized a positive that we were involved in.
A lot of people do.
Do they?
Just everybody doesn't articulate it.
Right.
We're just happy that this gentleman did today. And I'm very, very proud of especially the Four Seasons Pavilion and what we did to the lodge. I turned to get one guy loose who was a stonemason and made the place look beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yesterday we had over 150 kids from 7 different school districts for the Environment-thon that the Conservation District does. They were running around all over the place at the lodge. There are 5 sets of challenges, and they get scored by the Game Commission and Conservation District and some other people. And there's contests, and then we hand out ribbons for first, second, third, fourth, fifth place at junior high and senior high. Central Valley by the Lake cleaned up for you guys, just to let you know. They always do well in that.
Okay.
Some kids from Riverside got the first place prize. But just to be able to have events like that, school events during the day, senior events, fundraisers, and stuff that people do. That lodge is used pretty consistently, and if we had heating and air conditioning, it'd be booked every day.
And just my personal memories, going back to the 50s as a kid, catching crayfish or crabs in the stream, to what we've got now, what we've accomplished over the last 70 years. I mean, very, very proud of Brady's Run. Very, very proud of Rush Creek and Economy Park in.
And despite the predicted rain this weekend, there's going to be a lot of fishermen out there for the opening day of trout.
Oh, I had no idea about the opening day of trout season, and I drove behind Robinson Mall after I moved here, and they're shoulder to shoulder.
Tomorrow, bring your tent and your campfires and sit there.
I drove by there this morning. There's two guys with campers
already
parked already.
Yeah, already.
Oh yeah, they've got their
spot. Get your spot. Yeah.
Is your job no news is good news? Because, Tony, you just said somebody calling and saying, hey, that's good. If people aren't actively griping about something, does that tell you, okay, at least today we did a good job?
No? We know we do a good job.
Okay.
We don't always see people every single day. A lot of times we're at the courthouse, in a little room, meeting with one or two people. And a lot of times we're out in mass where we see a lot of people, and it's too confining to speak with everybody about what's going on in your community.
Look, the complainers are always going to outnumber the people that are going to take an effort to come and thank us for something. I mean, like the reassessment and different things. You're always going to get more complaints than you get. But you look at the data at the end of the day and you go, oh, okay. I guess overall we must have done a pretty good job.
We handled it the best we possibly could, considering the circumstances we were in.
And that's where that thick skin comes in.
Absolutely.
724-843-1888 to ask the commissioners. Hi, what is your name? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Paul.
Paul, what's your question for the commissioners?
2 or 3 weeks ago, there was talk you were going to move your storage from the mines out in Wampum to the facility where you're at right now. Did that go through?
Jack, you know more about that than me.
Yeah. No, it's in the works. It's in the works. St. Barnabas is making some alterations to the building.
You guys coming over here is messing up my planned skateboard park. I'm just going to tell you, there's a ton of room.
There's a nice one down Brady's Run for you.
I know you do. I know you do.
And we're going to build a new bike park maybe. So
really,
you can have that. Yeah. So yes, those plans are still in the work. They're proceeding. We got hung up with a little bit of a zoning issue with Brighton Township. We should be over the hump on that in a week. But St. Barnabas is fixing the building to what we need, and we should start moving stuff in. We probably won't move the voting machines we plan on moving there now until after the primary, because we got the primary coming up. But I think after the primary, we plan to put that stuff and the stuff from the mines all in the storage space we have here. Yeah.
Well, that's great, because the convenience is going to be so nice.
Yeah, location-wise, it's a lot easier than the mines, The good thing here is we won't have to pay extra charges every time we want to go look at something, move something, retrieve a box. All of our folks will have access with our IT system, setting up entry and logging.
In the old days, it wasn't bad,
right?
Until they changed their system. Before, we were able to go in.
It's just odd to think every time you wanted to go get your stuff, you had to pay an entry fee,
and you had to pay to put it back in,
really?
Restock it. Yes.
Wow.
Nickel and dime this to death with that. So a lot of work to do to get everything out of the mines and stuff. But
we got to get that out of our minds too.
All right. Well, there you go. You know what? That's 2 calls and both very complimentary.
Yeah.
What's the timeline? You said there was a zoning issue, but next week that's supposed to get cleared
up.
The
14th, I think there's a hearing, a variance hearing, just to make sure St. Barnabas is in compliance with everything, and they will be. So we don't anticipate any issues there. And I would hope by the end of this month we could actually start doing some stuff. And then what day's the primary? Is it May 20th or something, whatever? And right after the primary,
bring the rest over.
Wow.
I know it's late this year, but late in May. And right after that. So April and May, we'll start to see some progress of moving this and using it for some storage.
From the start of moving till everything's in, have the movers or anybody given you, we can do this in a week, we can do this in a month? Because that's a lot of stuff.
No, there are 22 different accounts,
oh my God.
Courthouse accounts
right.
at the mine. So there's at least 22 different entities that we need to coordinate. How much of this stuff do you have? How much can you transfer? What can be disposed of? We want to do this in an orderly fashion so that we're organized coming into it and not just yank everything out like I used to clean out my garage and just throw everything in the corner. No, let's do it. Let's do it in an organized manner.
There's documents here from the 1800s, early 1800s when the county was started, and I'm sure were documents prior to that with property descriptions.
Yeah, a lot of historical.
Is there anything in there that, like you said, Jack, when you move, you go, do I need it? No, pitch. Is there stuff in there that the county doesn't need?
Oh, for sure.
The Commonwealth has it set up with stuff you have to keep for 10 years, stuff you have to keep for 7 years, 5 years, 2 years, and then stuff you don't have to keep.
Yeah.
All right. 724-843-1888. We're 2 for 2 with nice calls. Let's see how this goes. Hi, thank you for calling. What's your name?
Happy Thursday, gentlemen.
Happy Thursday, Charlie. What's your question for the commissioners?
No question. The third comment. Congratulations on all three of you guys going to work every day with your big boy pants on. That's all I got to say.
All right. Jack, do you make a point of wearing your big boy pants, or long enough in politics creates the necessity of them to blossom themselves?
My wife lays out my clothes for me, and I just make sure they match. That's all it is.
Did you have to get a tougher big boy pants? Is that what happened when you got into politics?
I waited.
Say godfathers aren't supposed to wear shorts.
Yeah. No.
I waited well into my 50s and 60s before I decided I had something to offer as an elected official. So I think I was still wearing pants when I ran.
I've been doing this since I was 32.
Dan, you got big boy pants? You rocking shorts? You good?
No, I don't know.
At what age should shorts stop being worn by grown men?
Because
there is
John
an age.
Fetterman that question because
for God's sakes.
I don't think we have a good answer.
74.
Sorry to bring that up, but
that's okay.
We don't wear hoodies and shorts to the office. I will tell you that.
724-843-1888. Dan, is it getting tougher to do? I'm not asking Tony and I'm not asking Jack. They're grizzled old veterans, but is it getting tougher to do, or are you getting better at it, or is that what you got to do?
The way I look at it, as long as you surround yourself with the right people, it's never going to be tough.
Okay.
There's times where, whether it's, we're gonna see some inconvenience here in June whenever the state tries to pass their budget. It's every year. We have to plan for it. There's times where things can get tough, but as long as you have those people surrounding you, we have a great law department, we have a great human resources, we have great tourism. We were just talking about parks and recreation. We have a great, assessment office. It brought us through the reassessment fairly unscathed. So it's not getting any tougher. Let's say that. There are times where it could be tough, but as long as you're surrounded by the right people, we'll get through it.
Are there concerns about funding? You were talking about parks, and we see what's going on with national funding disappearing. Are there concerns locally that Beaver County could be affected by funding cuts?
Well, I think every county is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, our community development is 100% funded by HUD. It's all federal dollars. You look at our behavioral health, the amount of money that flows through the federal government, through the state government to us. We don't have enough to be able to keep some of those things afloat, at the county level. We can't.
We're already losing beds.
So.
Already? You said losing beds. Where?
Our LTSR up at
Brighton Rehab
is, we have the mental health has beds. These are people that have to be contained.
Right. Inpatient.
We did an addition 10 years ago, 12 years ago when the county owned it, because we needed more beds. And they're talking about closing it down because of Medicaid and Medicare.
And staffing.
Well, that's because of Medicaid and Medicare.
Staffing issues.
Right.
And that's why I'm so complimentary of St. Barnabas and Beaver Meadows. I mean, that's 60, 65 rooms. But, anytime one of those senior facilities closes, we don't have places for them to go, and especially something the size of Brighton Rehab, the old Friendship Ridge. There's over 400 people, 450 or so people in there. That'd be a huge hardship for the county.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Is there anything that you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? Dan, I'll start with you. What should I have asked you?
I don't have anything. We're just here to answer questions. I'm happy to see people called in.
Yeah,
it's good to even if it was a compliment or not. It's good hearing from people who we don't hear from often. So,
right. Tony,
it's just good to be back.
Glad, I'm real glad you're back.
Cooped up, I was losing my mind. I was happy to go to the doctor to see it.
Oh, that's
to get
brutal,
a blood test or to go get checked.
Hey, I get to go to the drugstore.
You can only watch so much Andy Griffith when you're sick.
On that, we vehemently disagree with each other.
You learn all about life watching Andy Griffith.
Everything you need in life. Now, you didn't go and jump the shark and watch the ones in color where Opie's playing in a band and Aunt Bee's on a cooking show.
Oh, yes. That's how long I was laid up.
Jack, thank you for coming out. The anniversary get-together, 2 days ago at Beaver Meadows.
Yeah.
Came out, and that was wonderful. What should I have asked you today?
Well, just one thing. We do a lot of April and brings out a lot of resolutions and groups and stuff. And just real quick, we did one a couple of weeks ago with behavioral BCRC, and the room was full, and the people were engaged, and all the folks with disabilities and stuff were in there. And that was such an enjoyable event for the three of us to be able to pass a resolution recognizing people with disabilities. And then we had another one just last week with the library system. And I can't say enough how great our library system is.
It's phenomenal.
Compared to other counties, phenomenal. I think it's one of the best around, certainly in southwestern PA. We had a nice big group there from all the libraries and stuff. Took photos on the courthouse step. And we love to recognize the people that we collaborate with and we depend on, not outside of the courthouse employees that are out there doing some great work. A lot of great service organizations, a lot of great nonprofits, and a lot of great librarians out there doing some great work, making the quality of life in Beaver County the best it can be. So very proud of everybody.
I'm very delighted to have all three of you in here today, Jack Manning and Tony Amadeo and Dan Camp. It's been Ask the Commissioners on Beaver County Radio.
Push Beaver County presents the 45th annual Beaver County Maple Syrup and Music Festival.